Welcome again. Now, we're going to write a simple program to help you internalize things to do with identifiers and variables. Okay, so it's stdio.h. So I think I need to save my file as a C. So I'll save the file, and now here we go. Okay, now so from here we can go to the int main. Okay, and so on. Now that we have this one, so I want us to do something a bit on variables. So the basics first. So for example, we can have here int num1. So you can declare int num. So you can decide to declare int num1 and int num2 like that. Okay. However, you could still decide that since they are basically of the same data type, you can just simply separate them using the semicolon. Okay, so this is a variable declaration. Then here we can have here now let's say char gender, the char gender. Okay, like that. So this is a program that has already declared variable. So far this is variable declaration. Okay, so we call this one variable declaration. But what is variable declaration? It's simply that you have a data type and a valid variable name. So you have a valid valid data type and valid variable name. So we call that one. We call it variable declaration. Okay, but now we may also want to do what you call assignment. Okay, so what is assignment? So assignment is where you now, for example, having declared, so there's no need now to declare num1, is already declared. So you can now assign a value to it. So you can say num1 is 13. Then we can say that num2 is 21. So when we say that, for example, num2 is 21, so this is assignment. So assignment, you now give them the values. Okay, and now we can also say that gender is, let's say, f. Okay, single quote because it is char. So this is what we call assignment. Okay, so here we declare them and here we assign them. Now having done all that, we can be able to output and just say that num1. So num1, so we can output the value of num1 having assigned, and then we can say here num1 like that. But then now here you must tell the software you must tell the software that you are expecting to output an integer. Okay, so that's why you must have a format specifier. Now here we can have here num2, then you can tell the software I'm expecting to output an integer. Then here we can say that now the gender, because now it's the gender. Now gender, you can say that gender will be a single character, %C, and then we can have here the gender, the one we are expecting to output. Then we can close the main function because it is int main. It must return an integer. In this case, it will return 0 if it is able to execute successfully. Then I'll build, and then I run. So after building is successful, then I run. So it says num1 13, num2 21, gender f. Okay, so the program is okay. So now we can use this program to explain further the concepts of a variable. So a variable is a named storage location. So here, this 13 will be stored in a named storage location. But what is the name of the storage location? num1. So a variable num1 is a named storage location that stores data and whose values can change. Okay, for example, we call this one a variable because I can decide that now my num1 I want it to be 19, and num2 I want it to be 8. Okay, so the variable will keep on storing different values. So a variable is a named storage location. Now assignment, you assigned. I assign num1 19, I assign num2 8. But when assigning, we use a single equal sign. Okay, so a single equal sign in programming is not equal, is assignment operator. Okay, so here we have used you use the assignment operator. So you use the assignment operator for you to assign, and then this is a single line comment. Okay, and so you must assign a valid value. Okay, but now I want us also now to try something called initialization. Now you can also initialize. Now initialization is where after declaration immediately you can assign a default value. So let's say that I can assign a default value. So initialization, now in this case I'm initializing, I can assign it, let's say 0. And now this one I can also assign it 0. So this one now, it moves further from just variable declaration to initialization. So in this case, you are declaring the variable and at the same time you are initializing. But what is initialization? Initialization is that you declare and assign an initial value. So you give it an initial value. So the initial value is not the final value. So you give it a value to hold during the time of declaration. But that value can change, okay? So here we can assign this one, but now when you assign, it will take the values you have assigned. So these are the initial values, initialization, and these are the values you have assigned. So if I build and run, I'll be able to get that num1 is 19, num2 is 8, then gender is F. You can see that I initialized gender with M, but it will display the one I've assigned, okay? So you can see that num1 is initialized to 0, num2 initialized to 0, but it will take the new one, okay? The new one. Now here, we are not using int num because we have already declared int num1. We are not saying int num2 because we have already declared int num2. I'm not saying char or car gender because I've already done it, okay? And that marks the end of our class on variables. No, before that, I think I can add one more to enable you understand. Now, let's say that we had here another one. Let's say we had here another one for salary, a basic salary. So it will be double basic, and then we can use here the camel case. So in this case, I've initialized, but the way I've named here, I've used a camel case name. I've joined them. These are two words, but if you declare them in this manner, it will not be a valid variable name. So instead, you have to use a camel case. If you don't want to join them like that, instead you can join them using underscore. So you can join if a variable has two names, you can join them using underscore or just using a camel case. Camel case, you capitalize the letter of the second word. Now here I can now give it also. I can try to give it. Sorry about my voice. Okay, so here I can give it here the basic salary. I can give it here. Let's say 65,000. Now in programming, we don't use the comma for at this point in time, okay? Like that. And that will be a valid because this is a double, okay? Then here I can have here a statement to output the basic salary. And then I can say that now, if it is double, it will be long, is it long, it will be LD, the percentage for that, and then here it will be basic salary. So you can see you join them using a camel case, okay? So let me build and run. Let me hope it runs. No, here is not percentage LD, sorry. It's supposed to be long float. What is long float? I think I may have to refresh on that one. Yes, it's okay. So it is LF, okay? So it's more than just F. It will have to be the long float, but I can control it to 2 decimal. That's why I have 2 percentage L, control it to 2 decimal. And now when output, it will be 65,000.00, okay? LF. LD is for long decimal. LF is long float, okay? So you can be able now to see the program. So this one is initialization. Initialization, this is declaration and initialization. So this is where you declare and you initialize. Declaration and initialization in the same program. Declaration and initialization. Now, and so this is here is this is what I've used a camel case to join. Camel case, you join two words, but the first letter of the second one becomes capital, okay? Then here you use assignment operator, single L, then the valid data type. Now, point 2 is to ensure that the decimal on the right will be to 2 decimal places. Long float, that is for double, long float, okay? Long float like that, and then basic salary like that. Then you will have declared it in the correct manner. So I'll stop there for now.